For Bruce Arians to be so definitive in shutting the door that way, why do you think he made those comments?
Well, number one, Bruce Arians, Greeny, he knows Antonio Brown. He was on the Steelers. He was their offensive coordinator back in 2010 when they drafted him. He helped shepherd him to one of his most successful careers seasons early on in 2011 that catapulted his career. So he knows this guy. He knows what he's about. And to say that he's not a fit in the offense is one thing. To say that it wouldn't work monetarily is another thing. To say that he doesn't fit in the locker room or he's not a culture fit, that is completely different. And I'm surprised that Bruce Arians went there because that is completely slamming the door on Antonio Brown ever becoming a Buccaneer, in my opinion.
Me too. And Booger, I share Bobby's surprise that he would be this definitive. I think most of us believe Brady liked playing with Antonio Brown, and that was a good fit. We only saw them on the field together once, but it was very effective. What do you think of this?
Well, Greeny, I agree with you. And you know, when I get new information, I'm allowed to change my opinion. And right now, there is no new information on Antonio Brown. We don't know what his situation is going to be with the NFL. So Bruce Arians understands it's going to be a circus in Tampa whenever the league gets back going. So why add to it? Go ahead and squash the Antonio Brown situation for now. Do I think it's dead in the end? Not necessarily, because right now he doesn't have to say anything positive or negative or anything at all about Antonio Brown. He just has to right now control the narrative. And the narrative in Tampa, when they get back on the field, it's going to be a lot of hoopla. So why add to it with comments that would lead the public to believe that you somehow want Antonio Brown? So I agree with what he did, but I wouldn't say it's dead after all.
Well, let me push back on that a little, because he could have said almost nothing, but he didn't. I wrote down the words: not a fit, definitively no, not in our locker room. I mean, he to your point, Booger, he didn't have to say those things, and he chose to. He really felt like he was slamming the door shut.
Yeah, and I understand what he's doing right now because he doesn't want to continue to get asked the same question over and over. If, when, maybe, how. You go ahead and you slam the door now. But Greeny, how many times in sports have we seen someone say unequivocally no and then come back on the back end and say, yeah, something came out and we changed our mind? So I'm not calling Bruce Arians a liar by any means. All I'm saying, let's sit back and see how this plays out, because we know Tom Brady likes Antonio Brown, and at some point, I think we all agree, if the commissioner suspends Antonio Brown and he gets reinstated at some point toward the end of the season, he's still a good wide receiver, and he's going to play at some point. Why not in Tampa? Maybe somewhere else, but I do think he'll be on the field if he's eligible to play.
Quickly, Bobby, let's talk about fit. We know they have two really good receivers in Tampa, and we know what Brady is. How would Brown fit there? What would his role be?
I think they probably slide into the slot. Tom likes smaller wide receivers. He wants a guy that can maybe move around a little bit, like Edelman, like Wes Welker, utilize him over the middle. But I just look at this, when you keep going back to culture fit, not that he wasn't eligible, wasn't money, it wasn't any of those other things. It was a culture fit. To me, that's saying we like where our team's at and we don't want to disrupt this locker room.
Yeah, so we'll see. I guess, Booger, I will concede you this. He reserves the right to change his mind, and maybe eventually he does. For the moment, Bruce Arians has said Antonio Brown's not coming to Tampa. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.